Why you bother me when you know you don't? Welcome to Black Girl Say Something, where this black girl has something to say. And so I want to come on here and do a quick story time because there was a question that was asked of me, and it was like, how do you inherit a dog? And so because of the fact that I inherited this dog, I was like, oh, now's the perfect time to do a story time, especially since April 5th just recently passed, and I went to go to the grave to visit my stepdad, who passed away August 2012. Now, my son does have my stepdad's middle name. My stepdad was very pivotal in my upbringing, in my formative years, like middle school to high school. And even after adulthood, I still found myself like turning to my stepdad for advice and things like that. And I feel like he left me out here to navigate this world by myself. Because, anywho, I'm gonna get into the question. But just to give you a little background, like as a young girl, when I first started, my cycle in the 6th grade, I called my mom. My mom was at work. She didn't answer. So I called my stepdad. I was a little embarrassed. And he came, he picked me up. He had the things that I needed and he dropped me off home and he went about his way. I think he went back to work. But I say all of that to say, like, in the very pivotal moments in my life, my stepdad was there. Now, that doesn't mean like, I didn't grow up knowing my dad. I didn't have a relationship with my dad. But when my mom got with my stepdad, she already had 2 kids by 2 different men. So don't let nobody tell you that man ain't gonna love you with them kids. Like, don't let nobody tell you that. And then she got married, and then they had my little brother. Anywho, with that being said, was it the best of situation between them? Not necessarily, but that's my mom's story to tell. As a child of who witnessed a lot of interesting things, I've worked through that already in therapy. So getting to the place where I am now, where I'm like, oh shoot, somebody asked me, how do you inherit a dog? I gotta tell y'all. So how did I inherit this dog? So my stepdad passed away in August 5th, 2012. When he passed away, I was right before he passed away, like a month or 2 before he passed away. I had at the time I wasn't married to my kid's dad, and at the time I only had 1 kid. So I wasn't married to my daughter's dad at the time, but we were together and we were living in an apartment. And I had this bright idea, as my daughter's now getting older. I had her first birthday. I had to have it at like my mother-in-law's house. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had to have it at her house. It was a mess having it at her house. That's number 1. Then number 2, her second birthday, I ended up having it at his aunt's house. My daughter's dad's side of the family aunt's house, and that was a disaster again. So now I have this bright idea. I'm like, I need to purchase a home, and because I need to purchase a home, I need somewhere where I can have my own things and do my own things with my child. And that led me to reaching out to family members to say, hey, mind you, I had been on my own since I was 17. So I reached out to my great aunt, who I regarded as my grandma. Save you the details. But we go move with her. I don't know like what really took place, but she ended up putting us out. And I look back on it, I think something happened between her and my child's father. So she ended up putting us out. So I called my stepdad, and at the time my stepdad and my mom were in this reconciliation space where he was living in a house. She moved back in with him with my brother, and I was like, okay. He was like, y'all could come live here, but I just gotta let you know your mama is here. And I was like, I don't want to live there with her. Now, mind you, at this point, I'm like 21. I hadn't lived with my mom since I was 17. All right. So he talks to her. He tells her, hey, her and her son and her man, they coming here. Don't make no thing about it. Leave them alone. Not 2 months into us living there, why this man pass away, y'all? Why this man pass away 2 months after? Thank you. Thank you for the gift. I see you, B. Yeah, 2 months after he done told my mama that we moving in, he passes away. And so I was like, what do you mean you're gonna pass away? Anywho, at this point, he passes away, but he already had this dog that he had gotten in like 2008 or 2009. The dog name is Tyson. And my brother named the dog Tyson after Tyson chicken nuggets. So fast forward, eventually, like now that he passes away, my mom's like, oh, I was only going to stay there for a year. But he passed away 2 months after we moved in. So my mom's like, hey, this is 2012. She's like, hey, you know, he was paying all of the bills and stuff like that. Now, mind you, he was sick, but he was paying all of the bills and stuff like that. And she was like, can you help me with the bills and y'all stay here and we split the bills? I'm like, all right, cool. What that look like? So it seemed good for a time, but you know, again, when you don't heal old wounds, they tend to come back. And I say that to say, if I'm telling you I've been on my own since I was 17, quick story time to the backstory to the front story is that my mom always was not good with money. She was not financially disciplined. She was not financially literate. She just knows that she needs money and more money, but she never really knows how to allocate her money properly. So at 17, when we were practically homeless, we were living in a hotel, and that's why I don't talk about a lot of certain things that I see here on social media, is because I've lived those lives already and I have no place to judge those types of stories. So I had just recently graduated high school. We were in between places, me, her, my two brothers. We were living in a hotel. Sparing you kind of like the details, yes, my stepdad was good to us as the kids. He was not the best to my mom. There was an incident that happened, so he was like away for that incident between him and my mom. So me, my mom, and my two brothers, right before I graduated high school, was homeless. I'm the oldest, so I'm like the secondary parent, where I'm helping my mom with my little brother and stuff like that, and back and forth. But old wounds, when you don't heal them, old wounds do come back. So now she's asking me to help her with these bills because my stepdad passed away, which makes sense. You go from 2 incomes to 1 income, understandably enough. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I haven't lived with my mom since I was just a single young girl, and now I'm back and I have a man and a baby. 2012 turns to 2013, turns to 2014. 2014, I have my son. And I was not very happy about that because, again, it's like I'm living with my mom. I don't want to have another baby, and I'm still trying to buy a house. And this man who I'm with is really not really helping me. But my mom doesn't know that. Also, it's in 2013, we got married. So my stepdad passes away. I don't even get the chance to grieve it. He's like pushing for us to get married, whatever. We get married. Was it the best choice? No. Did I have a community that I was comfortable with talking to? Also no. So there we go. 2014, I get pregnant. I'm like, oh, I'm probably not gonna do this. He's like, well, you my wife now, so what you gonna do? You not doing nothing that I don't want you to do. You gonna have this baby. So I have the baby. I'm happy. I love my 2 kids. I love them. And also, don't let no man convince you to keep no children, because the same person who convinced me to keep both of these kids is not here, ain't been here for the last 4 years. But I don't want to talk about that. I'm talking about how I inherited a dog. So the sun just is shining on me, isn't it? Heaven. Anywho, so my stepdad passed away in 2012. I get married 2013. I have my son 2014. 2015, I'm really serious about buying a house now, because you know, life changes, significant life changes happen, and it throws you off. So whether it's moving, having a child, losing a job, those significant things throw you off. And mind you, my children's father, now my husband, is working all these different little side jobs. He's not like keeping a job. But I'm still diligent on my goal, my journey to buy a home. So what got to the breaking point of me moving out from my mom's house again, because again, old wounds do come back. She's asking for more money, but at the same time, like, this is 2015, things are still like not like crazily priced. And I also took maternity leave and was still keeping up my portion of the bills, which I had to pay the light, the water. So those are bills that are out of the control. And she paid the constant bills, which was the rent. I paid the light, the water, and the internet. And I was supposed to split the internet with my brother, but sometimes, because my brother was also living there too, but sometimes he didn't have the money for whatever reason, so I would just pay it and whatever. And then I had the younger brother who, he's still like in middle school, and middle school transitioning to high school, and my mom was really not, she wasn't really like being a parent to him because his dad passed away, which I understood. But at the same time, it's like she kind of was like, let him do what he want to do. And now I'm getting frustrated because now I have 2 kids and now a third, like he's like the third kid, and it was too much for me. So we move out because whatever. My mom came to me asking me for more money. I felt like, you know what? If I'm going to be paying you almost $1,500 in bills, I could just find an apartment. And I did. I found an apartment for like $900. A beautiful 1-bedroom. Me, my husband, and my 2 children now. And my son was only just a little baby. So we moved, and we lived there exactly 1 year and some change, and then I was able to buy a house. Now, the thing about it is I bought my home through a program. You can check out my homeowner chronicles over on YouTube, right here on YouTube. So because I'm gonna download this, I'm recording right now for YouTube. So homeowner chronicles, where I detail like how I ventured into home ownership through a local program in my area, which is available in a lot of different places. So the reason why it's pivotal to note that I was in the apartment for 1 year is because when I was going through the actual home buying process and getting to underwriting, the people wanted to know where my money had been going for the last year. They wanted to see that rental history. So I was like, oh shoot, had I stayed with my mom, I probably wouldn't have got to this point. So everything kind of happened for a reason. But I'm gonna tell you this, the time that I was living with her, yes, I was saving money, but I think because my mom was not so financially literate or so financially disciplined, when she came to me and I said, hey, I think we're just gonna go ahead and move out, and I literally like had a place within a week, because it was at the end of the month, and I think it was one of the longer months. So let's say she came to me like May, and when she came to me in May, the second to last week of May, I had moved out to start my May in June to start my my lease in June. So it happened so quickly, and she was like left baffled to feel like, okay, well, how you was able, and I was like, I was saving money. So I moved out, and she was able to keep her place still even longer after I left. So it was like, okay, you really didn't need that. You just wanted the extra money from me. But also, you're not requesting extra money from my brother. Y'all know how that go. Moms with the oldest daughter, the younger brother situation, that whole dynamic. Like, if you know, you know. The daughter's expected to do more. The brother don't have the same expectations. That is not my portion. That is one way that I'm breaking the generational curse. And I saw somebody say, how you supposed to break generational curses when you pleasing the generation that cursed you? And so I was very much the black sheep of the family, literally and figuratively, because I would always like, I gotta get out of this. I gotta get out of this. I don't want no parts of it. So mind you, in all of this time, from, like I told you, I moved in with him, my stepdad, my mom, my brothers in 2012. The dog is there. The dog is a part of this whole story. Tyson has been living with us. So I purchased my first home in 2016 with my children's father and my 2 children. And 2017, my mom has now kind of like moved into a place where she can't have a dog. And my brother is doing over-the-road trucking, living out of the truck, you know, those types of jobs. And so the dog comes and lives with us in 2017. And so did my youngest brother, because he had some issues with high school, so he had to go to the high school in my neighborhood, the home high school for my zone or whatever. So my brother and the dog comes to live with us. My brother was very unruly, so I told my mom she got to come and get him, because I got my own 2 children and I can't do this. And the dog stays. Now, I'm not a dog person, but this dog, he does not bark. He does not, you know, I'm not a dog person, but he doesn't bark. He's very like docile, very quiet. And when my stepdad, I'll never forget, he said, I picked that dog because he was the runt of the litter. And he's also a pit bull boxer mix. And he came from like the mom was a very like, girl pit bulls are very like excited. And the dad pit bull was a very calmer pit bull. I think the mom was a boxer and the dad was a pit bull. I don't know. Like, I don't know dog breeds. I really don't. And I don't really like care to know dog breeds. But what happened with the dog is in 2017, the dog comes to live with us because we're the one with the house with a backyard. Now, he's not an outside dog. He's very much an inside dog. But pause real quick. So my husband at the time decides that he wants to get a girl dog to mate this dog. He makes a deal with my brother and says, oh, we mate the dog, we'll split the money. I'll save y'all the details. He mated the dog, sold all the puppies, never split the money with my brother. My brother gets pissed. My brother comes and picks up the dog because he ends up moving, getting a more steady job. Like, instead of doing trucking, he wasn't doing that anymore. And he took the dog and he moved like 4 hours away from us, like where we're from. And then he moved 4 hours away. So he ended up taking back the dog. And so they kind of was beefing. And what the children's dad did was he ended up getting rid of the dog. I don't know if he took the dog and like let it loose somewhere, but whatever, he did that because now he don't have no profit from having this dog, this girl dog. And that dog was terrible. Like, I could show y'all, like, he used to lock the dog up in our washroom, and the dog scratched a hole so deep in the door. Like, the door's still there to this day. I just don't have the financial means to to put a new door on. But that's besides the point. So my brother ends up taking a different job, but he's with this girl, and the girl keeps the dog. And she gets the dog registered to be an emotional support dog. Well, I guess she ended up having to move, and where she was moving to, she couldn't afford the pet fee. And so the dog came back, I think, with my youngest brothers, which is my stepdad's grandma and auntie. Now, they end up having the dog, and they was like, oh, they don't want to keep him. They're going to drop him off to a shelter. And I was like, no, y'all not going to do that to my stepdaddy dog. Let me get the dog. Also, I don't fool with them because they're not nice people. So my mom ended up telling them like, oh, I'll take the dog. And she ended up taking the dog and then having the dog come be with me. So Tyson has been with me since 2020. I'm thinking 2020, 2021. Tyson has been with us, and he's been with us ever since. And so, like, we're his forever home now. And my son loves him. He's an emotional support dog for my son. He is old, I will say that. People compliment how well he looks and how groomed he is and everything, but he is an old dog. Also, my daughter is very allergic to pets, and this is the only dog she's not allergic to for whatever reason. And I think it's because she kind of grew up with him. But yeah, that's how I inherited a dog. So somebody's like, how do you inherit a dog? And I'm like, oh, it is a long story, long to the short. My stepdad passed away. This dog has bounced around from different places. This is his second time living with me, but I think this is his last time. His second and last time. He's not going anywhere else until he get called on to glory, I guess. He is how old? Tyson is 17 years old, so he'll be 18 this year. I think that's pretty old in dog years. He does have a few little, like, he had a UTI like last year, and I was like, oh no, I didn't know dogs could get that. And something that I found interesting about him as a male dog is that they told us not to breed him anymore because it can cause issues with his prostate because of his age. And I have no intentions of doing that. And number two, when he goes to the restroom, he has a leg, like his hip is very weak. So when he goes to squat down, sometimes he falls back. And so that's very interesting to note as far as him getting old. I also can see him getting old in his face. You know, like how on your iPhone, Apple will put together, and there was one that said like furry friends. They put together a folder called furry friends, and it's like a bunch of pictures of me and Tyson, the kids and Tyson, just Tyson. Sometimes I take pictures of him when I walk him and stuff like that. And I can see the oldness in his face. So his face has gotten more droopy. He does not have a lot of teeth, so he does have to eat like fine, small food. But yeah, so he's gonna be 18 years old this September. Again, my son was like, if we lose Tyson, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna get another dog? And I'm like, no, unfortunately not. Because my kids did have a dog that their dad had bought for them in like 2019, and it was a miniature poodle, and he killed the dog, and that was like very traumatizing. So I was like, if this one goes due to natural causes, we won't be getting another dog. I cannot. Mentally, I can't, and I will be sad, but I cannot get another dog. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with it. But with that being said, I often tell people I'm not a dog person. I'm a Tyson person, because if the dog is not like Tyson, I can't be fooling with it. Like, I don't like all that barky, yappy, yappy. People in my neighborhood, probably as long as the dog been living with us, if they never see me walk him, they don't know that we have a dog, because he's not out in the backyard running amok. He does have to walk. We did have to increase his walks for his mobility. So instead of him walking twice a day, he has to walk now 3 times a day. And we can't feed him. We were feeding him 3 times a day. Now he only wants to like eat 1 time a day. So I think that's indicative of him getting older. But he eats, you know, regular. We've never, he can't eat table food and stuff like that. Yeah, so he's an old dog. Anywho, I'm about to get up off of here because I got some other things to do today. My plans were a little bit swayed because of the time and everything like that. But with that being said, this is going to be over on YouTube. If you missed anything, you catch the recap over there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube. I do post content over there pretty regularly, and I'm proud of myself because I've scheduled 30 days worth of content. So the April content is fully loaded, fully scheduled. Also subscribe to the Patreon. We got some new things coming this week, so every week there is something that is getting posted over there. But I look forward to everyone interacting and sharing and liking this video. Until next time, remember, tune into Black Girl Say Something, where this Black girl has something to say. Where this Black girl has something to say. Every Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we drop a new episode. But don't forget, if you ain't listened before, that's okay, because there's over 200. Yes, you heard me, 200 episodes, because Black Girl Say Something started in 2022. Tune in.